Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the downstairs toilet. So it's been a good few weeks since the last video went on for the plumbing, which you can see there. Still no sort of progression on that, and yeah, I've been busy with work, so this is the first chance I've got back. But in the meantime, we've been collecting bits and pieces and parts. So as you can see there, we've got a Bullnose windowsill, and what that's for, it's going to sit on there just to neaten that up. So in this video we're going to get that cut down to size. Then also the outside taps for the garage. So the hot one is just going to be your generic, you know, outside tap, sorry. And then the cold one, I've gone for this. Now, this is probably more for future plans, but as you can see here, this big red lever, right at that one, that will be used for filling buckets and that sort of stuff. And then the other one, the smaller lever, is going to be used the water filter system. Now, I enjoy looking after my cars, cleaning them and making sure they're nice as much as I can when I get time. So on the other side of this wall will be a bit of a setup with a pressure washer, and then I can have a cold feed to a filter. And at the old house, and I'll put a picture in now of how it was set up at the old house with chrome pipe. But basically, it's a water filter system that I can switch in between filtered and unfiltered water. And what it does is, in direct sunlight, saves me having to dry the car or worry too much about it, especially with having a black car where watermarks are a nightmare, because where we live, it's hard water. So that, in this video, I want to get the hot and cold taps fastened up on the other side, so I know where they're at. And then this side, and what I'm going to do first is cut a bigger hole round there, because as I mentioned in the last video, what I want to do is use compression fittings just on them ones, to allow me to remove them at a later date if needed. So cutting a hole, what it'll do, it'll just allow me a bit more room to get the fitting on and to be able to tighten it up with the adjustable spanner. So that's one task. Something I never covered, and it were more for time purposes with work and just doing it on an evening. But I got the new radiator back on and plumbed in and working, so that's nice and warm now, and it heats the room up nicely. But it was the first time I've ever done it, so I weren't comfortable in showing that on video. But to be honest, went pretty well. I used PTFE tape on the valves and the lock shield. However, quite a few plumbers recommended Loctite 577, so I've got myself some of that for the future, and I might use it on the outside taps, and it'll make life a lot easier and not unsightly with the PTFE tape. So yeah, the radiator's on and going well. So I think it'll be a case of getting a bit tidied up, and because we're waiting on things, what I'm thinking is probably getting the flooring in, but not all the way, because obviously, although I can roughly calculate where the units will be, I'm going to stop it maybe a board short. What that'll allow me to do is look to start getting the architrave on, the skirting along this wall and there, and then I can at least cut a board for there that's longer than needed. I can cut it down, and same on that side. So I hate sitting around and waiting for stuff. So what I'm thinking is, if I can get the floor down, get these done, at least the most of the stuff is buttoned up, ready for the cabinets arriving, which is probably from this point at least another week to 2 weeks. So yeah, we've got the mirror arriving probably next week. That's been probably 4 weeks since I ordered it, but I can't put that up until the cabinet's in, because I want to make sure we put it in the right place. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to crack on and try and get it done. Right, so where the wall, obviously I drilled that side this way into the garage. Now the whole garage is going to get done at a later date, so it made a mess. So what I've done is I've just quickly filled it, and then to reform and help support the plugs. So I'm going to leave that now. This one's in and ready. Just a note there, brass screws. I'm going to get some bigger ones because, as you can see, they're sat right in there. So I'm going to get some bigger brass, but the reason for brass is so it doesn't corrode against there. But we'll get this board cut down so it can sit on top of here, and just neaten this out. I'm going to cut it to the end. Now the cabinets are 340 from probably that wall this way, so I'll cut it a bit longer, and then at least it's out of the way in here, and it can sit on there until I get the waste pipe sorted and all that stuff. Now the reason I decided to go for window board, so basically it's same stuff as your windowsill was. We could have just plastered it and boxed it in, but I want access in there, so it won't be fixed in place. It'll be placed as best I can. I may cork around it just so it looks like it's fixed in place, and I'll fix some blocks of wood so it doesn't move around, and then I can always lift it off, and I've got access to those pipes there, the waste pipe and everything else I need. So that's why I've decided to go with this, and I think once painted and everything, it'll neaten it up and make it look a bit more presentable. So I'm going to do that now because of our little issue here. One thing I suppose I could do is get the pipework ready for that. I do have a check valve, I need to get that and put it in here, and an isolating valve for there, and then that can sort that end out. And yeah, we're just ticking a few little niggly jobs off now and trying to get in a decent place, so I'll carry on going. Right, so it's cut to a rough length, and then the overhang is more than I want, so I'm going to do it the same as this, which is 20 mil. This is currently about 28 mil, so I'll cut a slither off the back with the table saw. But then, as you can see here, we've obviously cut this square, and nothing's ever perfect. So with that butted up this end, I've just measured the gap at the back there, which is 8 mil. So if I take 8 mil off at this end and cut it at an angle on the chop saw, it should butt up nicely. So I'll take this away and go and do that, and it should sit a bit more flush, and then we can just cork around the edges where it's obviously the wall's not perfect. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Don't look too bad. So it just finishes it off, and then if we wanted, we could put something on there just to make a feature of it. Well, but hopefully the toilet's going to cover a good chunk of that, and yeah, it's a bit unsightly, but you kind of got to do what you got to do. Right, so we've got the window board cut. To be honest, I think it looks fab. Excuse the stuff on top, but I need it for laying the floor. So it's cut, there's a 15 mil overhang, and then when the cabinets arrive, we can cut everything back to where it needs to be ready. So that's ready to go. The plumbing, I've explained, is what it is for now, so we'll have to drop back on that. So it leaves me not much left to do. So I need to do the architrave and I need to do the skirting board. Now, to do the architrave, there's a couple of considerations. Thickness of the plaster now. So I think this is the second or the third skim, so it's protruding quite far. So I've bought some battens of wood, but we'll get to that another time. But the flooring needs to be down before I do the architrave, so I know where I'm going up to. And also I need the flooring down to do the skirting. So hopefully that's something we can get done next week. So it is a bit premature, but what I'm going to do is start laying, as you can see there, when I zoom in, the Amtico. So it's the same Amtico as in there, it's just going to flow all the way through with the world's most expensive door bar. Those on Instagram that follow will have seen how much that thing cost for 2.7 metres. So it looks great. I'm glad we spent the money to have it, and we'll have the same down here as well, but unfortunately it was very expensive. So yeah, what I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to do the flooring up to here. Now that's probably not much more. Hopefully there's not too much flooring, but I'll use one pack. We'll see where we get up to, and I'm going to fit it properly. So what I used in there was this stuff from Wix, but I think Arbiton, that's it. And it's for Smart Click underlay. Now, the Amtico Smart Click, which is that stuff, has built-in underlay, so you don't actually need it. But what I found, it saved me self-leveling. Now, don't get me wrong, you should probably, but there's no issues in there at all that we've found with using this. So I'm going to do the same in here and just send it all the way through, because the floor, although it's not bad, it's not perfect. So this will just add another bit, another layer to soften out any undulations, I think the word is, and then we can put the Amtico on top. So that's going to be the first job. I do have a video of installing that previous, which I'll link down below. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on, get the GoPro going, and let's get it down. It shouldn't take me too long. If you're going to have a go at this yourself, this is a tool that I used, so heavy duty pull bar, absolute necessity, and an absolute godsend. So what, with the Smart Click, it's essential that you butt them up as far as possible to each other, and you can't really do that by hand, and that thing is fantastic for it. So yeah, let me get the GoPro on and let's get going and get this done. So you're probably asking yourself, why on earth did you just put a load down and tuck it back up? Right, so before I go any further, something I didn't think about was making sure that the planks line up this way. So I started obviously with a full one, but instead I've had to cut a slither down and then start, just to make sure that the planks run, and we want them as straight as possible so it's flowing. Now, there is that door bar going in across there, so sort of separate the room. And to be honest, I don't think anyone had noticed, but I know. So what I've done is I've cut this slither, it was a 100mm slither, and then I'm building off that. So let's carry on and get this done now. have it. The floor is down and we're ready to do a bit more. So, as I've said earlier, putting the floor down now is not ideal. I've still got bits of painting to do. However, and with when the units arrive, obviously I'm going to be putting them on the floor. So what this has done now, it's allowed me the ability to be able to start cutting the skirting board, cutting the architrave, so we're ready to keep going. It's a bit frustrating sat not doing anything when there's loads to do, so this is why I've kind of wanted to get the floor down today. And yeah, so a bit of a shame about the garage taps, but what I've done, and you can't see through it anymore, I've filled the hole massively at the other side. I'm going to let that dry overnight and then probably re-drill through for the plugs, because I want the tap to be pretty secure, so that can dry overnight. And yeah, that's about where we're at. I think I'm going to leave it there for now, because next week's video will probably include things like the architrave and skirting, so I'm quite happy with the progress today. Ticked a few bits off. The new shelf, or the Bullnose window board, that's now cut, ready, and then he'll just need its final cut when we know where the units are going. So yes, I'll leave this video here. Please give it a thumbs up if you've enjoying the downstairs toilet renovation. It's looking cracking in my opinion, and we're so close to seeing that end result. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and please make sure you check out Instagram for more day-to-day updates as we're going through it, which is at _DIY_journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.